everyone. I'm Adam Brown, and this is Shell Point Today for Monday, August 29th. On today's show, resident Nita DeWeese will tell us all about the Resident Dance Committee and their tea dance coming next week. And Michelle Tompkins of Resort Services will talk about the Trinkets and Treasures sale that happens later in the month. But first, we'd like to make you aware of a couple of volunteer opportunities. The Train Room is looking for docents for the upcoming season. Have fun telling stories about trains and Florida. It's so easy, and training is provided. Also, Adopt a Road needs a few more helping hands to help keep Shell Point Boulevard clean and beautiful. 1 day a month commitment with a great group of volunteers is all that it takes. For these and other volunteer opportunities, call Beth Crenshaw at 454-2290 for more information. If you have a medical appointment off property, did you know that transportation is available through the medical bus? Just make a reservation 24 hours prior to your appointment, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 11 a.m. The cost for the round trip is $18.50 or $10 one way. For more information, call 454-2054. The Resident Dance Committee has been promoting social dancing at Shell Point since 2011. It's one of the many enjoyable activities available here that you can take part in. Coming next week on the 8th, there will be an early evening tea dance. For more information, here's committee member Nita DeWeese.
Hi, I'm Nita DeWeese, and I'd like to invite you to the tea dance that will be held in the Grand Cypress Room in the Woodlands on September 8th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. We have many residents who love to dance living at Shell Point. We're all about the same age, give or take 15 years, and most of us went to dances from high school through college. During the raising of our families, dancing took a backseat. However, now that we can indulge ourselves, we have found dancing has made a comeback here at Shell Point. Some of us line dance, some ballroom, and some just what we used to call the old two-step. Shell Point puts on 2 dances a year, spring and fall. But those of us who line dance wanted more, so we formed a resident committee and sponsored a New Year's Eve dance in 2011. Success is a great instigator. We then added a summer dance in 2015 and 2016. Again, success. Last fall, the committee decided to sponsor an afternoon tea dance, which we held at the Hut. Well-known local entertainer Jerry Dyke provided the music. The Hut has since closed, so the committee decided to try some afternoon tea dances right here at Shell Point. We've lowered the ticket price for these dances as they are only from 4 to 5:30, but we are furnishing cake, coffee, tea, or lemonade, and are still providing Jerry Dyke for dancing and listening. For $5, even if you don't dance, just listening to Jerry's music and eating cake is a bargain. I get a big kick out of watching our residents doing the twist or jitterbug even if I'm not dancing, especially those in their 80s and 90s proving they've still got it. We've limited the ticket sales to 80 so everyone has room to dance. Contact any of us for tickets, and if the past holds true, we will be sold out before the 8th of September. For tickets or more information, contact one of the Resident Dance Committee members listed on screen, and we'll see you on September 8th in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands at 4 p.m.
It's time once again for the Trinkets and Treasures sale. It's the opportunity to buy or sell your gently used items. Here's Michelle Tompkins of Resort Services to tell us more.
Hi, I'm Michelle Tompkins of Resort Services. It's time again for that Trinkets and Treasures sale. It will be held Friday, September 30th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is, Trinkets and Treasures is a mini tag sale, if you will, where residents will get their own tables or booths, and they will bring and sell some gently used items from home. The cost, if you're interested in participating in Trinkets and Treasures, it is $5 per resident. Now, this fee is due when you sign up at either service desk beginning September 1st, and it will be charged to your resident account. When you sign up, you will pick up a small packet which will highlight the guidelines and some rules and regulations regarding the Trinkets and Treasures sale. as well as a display of where the tables will be. So you can look ahead of time where you may like to display your items. The table lottery will be held Friday, September 9th at 9:15 a.m. sharp at the Resident Activity Center. At this time, the participants will begin choosing their tables. Each resident who participates will receive one 8-foot table with a white tablecloth and 2 chairs. Pegboards will also be available on a first-come, first-served basis. Now, space is limited, so sign up soon. Do not miss the Trinkets and Treasure Sale, Friday, September 30th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. See you there.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections. Right after this, listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
On this week's Listening to the Words, join me as I dive deep into the heart of summer by reading stories ranging from A Painted Ladder about the pain of getting rid of unnecessary items in that attic trunk, to a child's recollection of growing up in the dust storms of Nebraska, and a memory titled Under the Spell of Summer Love, about a boy's unrequited summer love at the town swimming pool. Also enjoy some poetic prose by Anne Morrow Lindbergh called The Chuckle, and another piece about the understanding the pitfalls of taking a day trip with older folks in the car. David Howenstein promising all that and more on the 30-minute Listening to the Words program you can hear on Shell Point Channel 12 at the top and then again at the bottom of each hour, all 7 days this week and every week. Remember that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can catch a recording of the previous Sunday's Village Church service 3 times during each of those 2 days. As always, thank you for listening to the Words.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandler and I'm going to tell you what activities we offer for you here today at Shell Point. We're going to start with the men's round robin tennis down at the Woodlands at 8 o'clock. Also at 8 o'clock, we have pickleball played at the game courts behind the Resident Activity Center. We have virtual bowling in the Resident Activity Center at 8:45. At 9:15, we have billiards also being played at the Resident Activity Center. The Lollygaggers paddlers will leave from the kayak storage at 9:15. And our final 9:15 activity is pottery with instruction available down in the tunnel. Moving on to 10 o'clock, we have men's match play tennis at the Woodlands. Our Susie Q boat heads out at 10 as well. Today they're going to Matanzas on the Bay. At 10:30, we have Disciple Men's Bible Study Group. That'll be in the game room of the Woodlands. And the table tennis playing clinic will be in the Tarpon room at 10:45. At 11:30, we have a Health Connections class, bar, ball edition. That's in the health club, and it's currently full. At 12 o'clock this afternoon, we have Mahjong at the Cove. We have a Health Connections class at 12:45, Zumba Fitness. That's in the health club. Samba is played at 1:15 in the Resident Activities Center. At 1:45, we have another Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Advanced. That'll be in the health club, and you do need to sign up for that class. At 3 o'clock, we have Pilates Stretch in the health club. 6:30 is the time for Duplicate Bridge. That'll be in the game room down at the Woodlands. 6:45, we have movie night, The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer, 1947 film. That's in the social center. Well, I'm happy to see you here today, and I will see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath, the manager in the Resident Life Department here at Shell Point. I manage your Academy of Lifelong Learning. Maybe some of you are new to Shell Point, and I'd like to take just a moment to tell you about our registration procedures. Many more of our residents are using our online registration system, and that's great. When you do use it, if you successfully do a registration request, a message comes up to you that you will look for your confirmation in Shell Point mail. If you elect to register at either Service Desk, which is our other option, you will also get a confirmation of your request in your Shell Point mail. And I urge you to look carefully at your confirmation to make sure that you did indeed get into the class you were trying to register for instead of being put on a wait list. Sometimes we have to have a wait list, and there's a good reason for that. Many of our instructors prefer a smaller, more intimate atmosphere. Perhaps they're teaching a painting class or a drawing class. Perhaps they're teaching a room full of people with their first iPads. Perhaps they're teaching people how to write more clearly, and they're sharing, and they want to have the group manageable. Sometimes we just can't have a larger room than we have available, and so we have to control the class size. So there may be reasons to get on a wait list. Now, we do have a cancellation policy, and that's all listed in your Academy brochure, but just to talk a minute about it, 24 hours before the class starts is fine for a cancellation policy, except sometimes we have, for instance, a trip that has to be paid for farther ahead, or a class with, say, art supplies that we have to order farther ahead. In that case, if we have a wait list, somebody from the wait list will be called to take your spot, and they will take the charges. If you have any more questions about that, please give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. And I'd love to talk to you if you'd like to participate as a presenter. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about this semester. I'm very excited about it. We have two fascinating Coffee with a Neighbor programs right off the bat. The first one is with Martin Chappell, our Executive Vice President for Shell Point. He's going to spend some time with the lucky people who were able to get tickets for his Coffee with a Neighbor #1. He prefers a more intimate space for interchange, and he's going to have his program in the Grand Cypress Room. If you weren't able to get a ticket, don't worry about it. You'll have other opportunities to get to know him better. George Waters of Palm Acres will also share fresh insights from his recent time in Cuba with his Coffee with a Neighbor focused on teaching videography in Cuba. We have a nice, timely look at politics this semester. We're introducing two newer residents who just happen to be political science professors. Melissa Butler of Royal Bonnet will boost our electoral knowledge, and Wayne Swanson of Turbin will tackle the implications of the angry voter and the current presidential election. And then he'll bring us where the debates and polls are taking us in his presentation, Debates, Polls, and What's Next. Our senior pastor of the village church, Reverend Andy Hawkins, will provide us with a biblical view of church and state, always of interest, and particularly now. And Dick Brown, who teaches our Academy math classes that are geared to those who never liked math, will give us a fascinating look at voting systems around the world and right here in the United States. Looking at politics beyond our borders that surely do affect us here is Thomas Terrell. He's a retired international lawyer and former economic advisor to the UK government. He'll discuss the rise again in Europe of those dangerous isms of the 1930s, nationalism and socialism. Yes, he will also speak to the ramifications of Brexit, as he did last semester. And then our favorite historian, Professor Adrian Kerr, has several brand new classes for us, including the world's most famous trees from history, a class on Edison, Westinghouse, and Tesla. Then he's going to explain partition to us, how England managed the separation of Southern Ireland, of Pakistan, and of India. And he has a brand new round of trivia for another Lunch with Trivia contest. There's also art. Herb Sklar of Eagles Preserve never stops coming up with new and exciting opportunities to challenge our creativity in the arts. And Debbie Malkai of Periwinkle never stops with new and exciting crafts. And we have writing and word usage and birds and butterflies and the changing face of nature. We are even having a birthday party for America's first great woman composer, Amy Beach. Her music is included. We have some amazing Academy on the Go educational field trips, some Legacy Foundation seminars that keep us right on top of all things financial, from the implications of Brexit on investing to identity theft. Experts will also take us into the heart of the Syria refugee crisis, and also we'll learn how photojournalism keeps us in touch with the world. And there's more. I look forward to sharing it all with you. Our resident hosts and I will be glad to greet you at the door when you come to class. We look forward to seeing you at an Academy class soon.
Menus for Monday. In the Island Cafe, the sandwich special is a chicken Philly on a hoagie with fries for $7.75. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to the Village Church Connections. My name is Don Pullen. This morning I have with me Jim and Judy Mayer, and they're residents of Shell Point here, and we have a new program that we'd like to introduce to the Shell Point community. Could you tell us a little bit about that, Jim?
Sure, I'd be glad to. We have recently obtained some materials from an organization called GriefShare, and it's normally a 13-week course of dealing with the losses that people have experienced when they've lost a loved one. So that, in a nutshell, is what this is all about.
I know, Judy, that you've already seen some of the videos that go along with this. How did you find them to be? What were some of the topics that they covered?
I felt like it was very well done. Everything is updated from the old. If you've been through GriefShare before, this is all new filming, probably not new concepts, but there are a lot of people that they interview. And there are 30 minutes of they're not actors, they're in real life doing a group. And so we have probably professionals speaking in, but lots of the grieving people themselves.
So we get to interact with them via video.
Right. There's also a workbook that goes along with it. This GriefShare workbook is a very effective tool to enable people to really delve in more detail into their own specific grief situation and some of the challenges that they're facing.
Nobody's going to see your workbook, though, and what you write in it.
No, it's personal.
It's very personal, and you can skip parts of it that you don't really feel is for you.
What are some of the topics that we'll cover when we meet?
Well, it starts off with, is this normal? And of course, we all have questions about that. But then there's challenges of grief. There is the whole journey of grief, how it affects relationships, subject of anger, some of the complicating factors.
Anger is normal, and we encourage it because that way you get over your grief faster. It's not thought of in our culture as a positive, but it is very positive because it keeps you moving forward. You don't have to stay angry, but just accept that you are, and you're not a bad person.
We found it to be a really excellent program from what we've seen so far, and we're excited about participating in it. The reality is that there are three components to the sessions: the video, the discussion, and the workbook. And each week for these, we're actually only doing it for 11 weeks this time, this first trial, but we really want to encourage people to consider taking part in it.
They don't have to speak.
No.
If they don't feel like it, they can say, you know, I'm grieving too much. I'm afraid that I can't speak. That's perfectly all right. Whatever you feel like doing in the sessions, that's fine.
Yeah.
And who would be interested in attending a class like this?
We really believe that anyone who has experienced the loss of a loved one, either recently or in the past, that has perhaps not fully dealt with some of their grieving issues, would be a good candidate for this.
If you've never grieved a loss, never recognized it as significant enough, it will still be there, even though it's much later. But it might come out in physical symptoms, it might come out in emotional system, like depression, or a lot of things. You might just become flat and not know what you feel because you haven't explored the grief.
And it's not only the death of a loved one, there are other circumstances that we go through that sometimes challenges with our children, when we move from a place that we've lived for a long time, when we leave a job. All those kinds of things can be a part of that grief element, can't they?
They can to some degree, maybe in a lesser degree. This is really primarily focused on the death of a loved one. That's the heart of what this is all about. Those other elements are a part of it, but it is more significantly the trauma that is created in a person's life when a loved one dies. It could be a spouse, it could be a child, it could be a parent, it could be a dear friend. But the reality is, it's an experience that anyone in Shell Point would be a candidate for this. And I want to emphasize that this is not just for church people. This is really for anybody.
Great.
Because everyone experiences grief.
And most importantly now, when does it begin to meet? What's the time of the sessions as they meet every week?
We will be meeting every Thursday starting September 1st for 11 weeks at 2:15 until 4. So it's almost a 2-hour session every Thursday starting September 1st. This book is really a very extensive book, and we're going to charge a $15 charge for the book itself, but the 11 weeks of courses are free.
So that begins GriefShare on Thursday, September 1st. It'll meet every Thursday, 2:15. For about 90 minutes or so at the chapel at the Village Church. You'll see Jim and Judy's phone number in Shell Point Life if you'd like to give them a call. But we want to encourage you to participate in this wonderful program about grieving. And thank you for watching the Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. Tune again tomorrow when we'll learn all about the chronic care management program available here at Shell Point. And Melanie Brode will bring us another aquatic fit tip. Until then, I'm Adam Brown, and this has been Shell Point Today for Monday, August 29th. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you again for tomorrow's program.